call this Board of Alderman meeting to order. If you could please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Bowman.
Present.
Alderman Bachman. Here. Alderman Reese.
Present.
Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Dickerson.
Here.
Alderman Long.
Here.
Alderman Turner.
Here.
Mayor Hassett.
Here, we do have a quorum. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we do have a couple of ceremonial matters. First tonight I have a proclamation to read. Barbara Gay is here tonight to accept the proclamation. I'll read this first, and I understand you have a few things you'd like to say afterwards. Okay. Well, I will read this first. Shen Yun Performing Arts Day, December 22nd and 23rd, 2017. Oh boy, let's see if I can get this all. Whereas Falun Dafa Association of Kansas City is dedicated to the revitalization of 5,000 years of genuine Chinese culture. And whereas the Falun Dafa Association of Kansas City is devoted to promoting higher standard of ethical and moral behavior. Whereas Falun Dafa Association of Kansas City is determined to preserve the very best art in all of its forms. And whereas in its endeavors to do all these, the Falun Dafa Association of Kansas City has brought Shen Yun Performing Arts to the Kansas City area nearly every year since 2008. Whereas Shen Yun Performing Arts presents the true cultural heritage of traditional China, and whereas Shen Yun Performing Arts is comprised of a unique group of leading artists who share in a vision of cultural renewal, and whereas Shen Yun Performing Arts is not only entertains, but also more deeply educates, enriches, and inspires, offering audiences of all ages a rare experience of consummate beauty and goodness, and whereas evoking themes of virtue, compassion, and courage, Shen Yun Performing Arts leaves millions of viewers from all cultural backgrounds filled with joy, energy, hope, and peace in the most prestigious venues of the world. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Brian Hassett, Mayor of the City of Harrisonville, do hereby recognize the Falun Dafa Association of Kansas City by proclaiming the days of December 22nd and 23rd, 2017 as Shen Yun Performing Arts Days in the City of Harrisonville, and join my fellow citizens in extending our best wishes for their continued success in the future.
Thank you so much for honoring us with this proclamation. Appreciate all the time and effort required to do so. I just want to say a few brief words. I'm sure you've seen some of the advertisements for Shen Yun Performing Arts on TV. If you haven't seen this show, you are missing something amazing. This show is been developed by Chinese people living outside of China, outside of the influence of communism, and it is the 5,000 years of Chinese history prior to communism. So it's a very beautiful, ethical, and spiritual type of performance, something that you'll never see anywhere else in the world. And in fact, it cannot be seen in China at this point in time because of the communist ideology. They don't want you to know what the culture of China was really like, and they don't want their people to know what the Chinese culture was really like before communism. So it's very important if you get a chance to see this. It's a beautiful, beautiful show and very educational and inspiring. And thank you so much again, Mayor Hassett. I
You're
appreciate
most
it.
welcome. Thank you.
And I just want to give everyone, if that's okay, I just want to give everyone a flyer.
Sure.
And then I'll be on my way.
All right. Right.
Thanks so much.
Did you get a picture, Cheryl?
Just get a picture of you with Barbara and the
Okay.
proclamation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
messed up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll put the rest of these in that box on the wall there if anybody wants one.
All right.
How do you want to do this?
Well, if you just want to hold that open, we'll just stand side by side here.
There we go.
Thank you.
All
Hold
right.
it up just a little bit higher. There you go, nice smile. And one more time. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you again.
Good evening.
Tonight, we also have a service anniversary to recognize. Janelle Pence Arney is here. Did I say your name properly? All right. We're doing all right. Let's see, you've been here 3 years, times 10, 30 years? Wow, wow. That is definitely quite the milestone. And I personally want to express my appreciation for 30 years of service. That's longer than most people stay at any job anymore, so. Yeah, I'm finding that as I get older, that's true. So anyway, so on behalf of the Board of Aldermen and myself, we'd like to present you with the certificate and congratulate you on 30 good years. All right, thank you.
Here we go, nice smile,
All right.
folks. One more time.
Chief, do you want in with one?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. All right, thank you again. All right.
Thank you, thank you.
Very nice turnout by her co-workers there to support her. That's very nice. All right, that concludes our ceremonial matters tonight. So at this point, we will move on to public participation. Anybody who has anything to bring before this board that is not on our already scheduled agenda, please step forward at this time. Seeing no one, I will close public participation and we'll move on to approval of minutes. First, tonight you have the approval of the public hearing for the Board of Aldermen, November 20th, 2017.
Move to approve.
I'll second though.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Milner. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next, we have the Board of Aldermen regular meeting, November 20th, 2017. I believe this one does have a one change that should have been at your chair on page 5. If you want to read that through. If you make the motion, please make it to accept as amended.
I make a motion to accept it as amended.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson,
Second.
second from Alderman Turner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Last, we have the minutes from the November 20th, 2017 executive session.
Move to approve.
Motion from Alderman Bowman
Second.
and a second from Alderman Reese. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to our, oh wait, before we get to our agenda items, it's not an agenda item. We need to have the swearing in of our new alderman, please.
You would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jessica Levison,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed for the office of alderman
prescribed for the office of Alderman
of the city of Harrisonville.
of the city of Harrisonville,
That I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state
of the state
affecting cities of the fourth class,
affecting cities of the fourth class,
and the ordinances of the city of Harrisonville.
and the ordinances of the city of Harrisonville,
And that I will faithfully demean myself in the office of alderman,
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office of Alderman,
for which I was appointed
for which I was appointed
on the 4th day of December,
on the 4th day of December,
2017.
2017.
Congratulations. Thank you. And now your seat is right over beside Matt.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, and obviously Alderman Levison, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Just raise your hand and I will recognize you to speak, or you can always, if it's something small, I'm sure Alderman Turner can answer the simple questions if you have something that's just very simple, so.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our agenda items. First tonight with Council Bill 081.
Council Bill 081, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to approve payment to Tyler Technologies as part of the 3-year Encode 10 software system upgrades for the city of Harrisonville in an amount not to exceed $39,709.96.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm sure you've all read through this. This is basically part of the budgeted funds that were set forth last year for the payroll upgrade. That upgrade led us to upgrading the rest of the pieces of our Encode financials software. That will be a 3-year process, so we'll be back authorizing, we've already budgeted for those funds for 2018, and then there'll be the finalization of that in 2019. And we'll authorize payments to Encode for those software and training and things like that along the way. Anyone have any questions, concerns?
Questions? Entertain a motion to approve if there are no questions.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll take the motion from Alderman Milner. Would you like
Second.
a second from Alderman Dickerson? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And Council Bill 081 will give Resolution R049. Thank you, sir. Council Bill 082.
Council Bill 082, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Cochran Head Vic and Company PC for annual audit services for a period of 3 years, beginning with fiscal year 2017 for the amount included in the proposal.
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman.
Good evening.
Before you this evening is the proposal for audit services. As stated in our state audit section that I provided in part of the packet, the audit services was one of those professional services that we had not gone out to bid for a number of years. And so we sent out RFPs to several individual firms as well as advertised as required in our current purchasing policy, and received 5 of those and reviewed them, presented them to the Finance and Personnel Committee for approval with Cochran Head meeting the criteria requirements and basically the lowest bid process with that stipulation of meeting the timeline requirements. So I will entertain any questions that you may have or comments.
Just for clarity's sake, since we didn't put the amount in the title, is the form from Cochran Head proposed to be attached to the resolution so it's clear?
The actual contract with Cochran,
Or do you want the RFP attached?
do you want the
to
RFP
response?
attached to the,
Well, you say for the amount of the proposal, and I'm just thinking for clarity's sake, we should state specifically the amount in the resolution, or we should attach the bid form.
How about the bid tab?
I think that's, and reference, as long as that's referenced appropriately, I think that's fine.
okay.
Attach the bid tabulation.
And the 2017 proposal, I believe, is for $24,725.
So it's 24,000 for 2017, 24,725 for 2018, and 25,475 for 2019.
Correct. And then there's additional charges based on this single audit that will be required on top of that.
And this was the company approved by the Personnel Finance Committee, correct?
Correct.
Have you had experience with this company?
I have. I worked with them when I worked for the City of Liberty. So I've worked with a majority of actually the team that's presented, because in the RFP, they gave us the resumes of the team. And so I've worked with Mr. Cochran personally, Mr. Keenan, was also the lead auditor in Liberty when I had that experience with him on a personal level. So very professional, very well-educated firm.
John, it's one thing that you learn in accounting is a new set of eyes sometimes is not a bad thing. Sometimes they see things a little differently, so be a new set of eyes looking at things at a different,
Correct.
different perspective, so that's always good. So, any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve, Cochran and him.
Okay. Motion from Alderman Dickerson,
Second.
second from Alderman Turner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 082 will become Resolution R050. Council Bill 083.
Council Bill 083, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen in the City of Harrisonville to authorize and direct the city administrator to enter into an agreement with McLinney and Company of Kansas City and engage the company as municipal financial advisors.
We were approached a while back from Stiefel and Associates on underwriting the bonds. Now that they've had passed their 10-year mark, that are callable out at Town Center. Those are the ones that we help pay a portion of that debt for that project. What they looked at was what the savings could be if we would refinance them. We looked at those numbers, and the amount that looks like we would possibly save over a 10-year period ends up being about 12%. Usually if you refinance a bond, you're looking at a 5% amount of payback. So we're over double what we would want to look for. So when we did that, we also had some concerns that we didn't want to just jump on the first person that said, hey, this is what you can do. So we talked to a couple of companies that I'm familiar with and Marcel is familiar with, that being McLinney and Company and Piper Jaffray. Wanted to see if those numbers were accurate. Also to look at it from the point of view of, should we have somebody then work this deal out for us instead of having staff trying to work all the numbers, the underwriting. So after talking to the two, we felt that McLinney and Company had the best ideas as municipal advisors, some creative ideas that might work. If not, then we go with something standard, but they may have a way to help us save a little bit more money by going with this refinancing. So at this point, what we're asking is we want to engage McLinney and Company to be our financial advisors. They will work us through this process of trying to refinance the bonds. I will tell you that there are some changes in the current or the proposed tax code that may affect this. So 3 months ago, there wasn't any issue. There was a savings. But with the new tax code, there could be a change because they may not allow the tax-free for municipal bonds anymore. And that would cut down on the potential savings that we would garner. So just keep that in mind, but we think we need to move forward with this because with potential savings of maybe around $80,000–$90,000 a year, and our payment every year is anywhere between $135,000 to $250,000, we could realize some savings that would go back in general fund. So I think this is something that would be good for the city.
Agreed.
And what does it cost us?
It'll be,
A percentage?
yeah, it's a percentage, there's a breakdown that's in that contract, but it goes into that loan. We don't pay out of pocket.
And they do this kind of work throughout Kansas City?
Yep, yep.
And like you said, typically if it's a 5%, that's the magic number that it's a good idea. Well, we're over double that, so it's almost a no-brainer that we should pursue this to try to save some money.
And they will be our financial advisor just through this piece of what we're working on?
Correct. We can utilize them for something else, but the intention is that this would be it. That we would work with them, unless something else comes up, and the board says yes.
Any further questions?
So, if we do this and then the Tesco does change, what, we have no,
We'll see.
going on what?
We'll see what the numbers are. But if it doesn't come, if it comes back less than 5%, we'll just drop it. I mean, we won't pursue it, we'll let the board know. But we need to start this process, and if we can get it started at the beginning of the year, we may be able to get even a better rate if things follow through on the tax code.
So this is just the start of it?
This
Right?
is-
We're not committed to any money with them or anything like
Nope.
that? Okay, just to see if it's gonna work?
Right.
Okay. I make a motion that we do it.
A second?
She beat you.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson, and I have a second from Alderman Levison. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 083 will become Resolution R-051. Council Bill 084.
Council Bill 084, first reading, an ordinance to accept replat of Lot 5 of Love's Addition subdivision to achieve property boundary extensions to the west and to the south of subject property and to relocate the west utility easement.
Good evening.
Good evening. The purpose of this is because we want to start a new business on this location. And the current size of the lot is not quite big enough for what we need to do. Partly due to the city regulations.
For the record, could you let everybody know your name? So
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know who you are,
You're
but
not Jim Clark.
everybody else may not.
My name is Rayland Downey.
Okay.
And so that's the purpose of extending the lot. The owner of the property is the same owner of the extended property that we are asking for. We just need a replat so that we can move forward on our project.
Okay. This was approved at the planning and zoning. The question I did ask you there that I'd like to ask here so they can all hear again is the water that's used to actually wash the trucks, where does that go?
That will be maintained inside of the plant 100%. We will have a system that will filter the water, we'll reuse water, and the rest of the water will go down the city sewer. There will be no access for runoff outside of the facility.
Mhm. As far as any of what does go into sewer, that goes through a filtration system of some type that will keep it from damaging our wastewater plant.
Yes, we've already discussed that with the wastewater people, and we have a system going in that will do exactly that.
Okay, and then as far as runoff on the parking lot, you do have a retention pond area in your design, correct?
That is the reason that we need to expand the property, is for that retention water basin.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for him while he's? Okay. All right, Mr. Clark?
Just a little housekeeping on the council bill. If you look at paragraph number 3, there's a typo. We need to correct that before it's executed. It should be the 16th of November, just so there's no confusion, for reference. That was the date of the planning and zoning commission. Just to give you a little background on this project, Mr. Downing has proposed a truck wash across from the Love's operation out there at Commercial and Procard. And during the process, he's met with city staff. We've received plans, we've been reviewing plans and what have you. One of the reasons and the needs for the expansion requested the boundaries of the property is because city staff recommended that the retention pond be on site. And initially, it extended over into the property that was not his property for that operation. So they are presenting the request to do so. The other element on the south part of the boundary extension request is just based on their customer base, which is 18-wheelers, the diesels that are coming through, the turn radius for effective layout of their operation, employee parking, truck wash, etc., require them to have a little bit of excess space for that southern end so they could effectively accommodate their customers. They're going to have 2 bays, in case that you're not aware of that, rather than a single bay. So there'll be 2 bays coming in, so they're going to be feeding truck lines into horse 2 at a time, if you will. And so the request this evening is for basically to be able to contain the detention pond on their site and allow for effective turn radius. On the south side, there's also the component of the utility relocation request, easement, not utilities, but there's no utilities there, but easement request, because the initial plat that Love did with their plating did have a utility easement on the south side with the extension of the boundaries, and that would interfere with where the utilities would lie. So they're asking to be able to extend those beyond what they currently are. And staff has been reviewing that as far as effectively being able to install public infrastructure if needed with the easement. So the engineering design that's required has been negotiated and conversed back and forth. So staff is comfortable with the room that would be available for access there too.
Did the surrounding property owners have to be notified of this, and do we have to have a public hearing posted?
No, we did not. That wasn't required for this particular piece.
It's not required
just,
to do that?
It was just a replat. This was not rezoning or anything along those lines. Or no variance or anything.
Just redoing the original plat that was put in place, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
And only one lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no need for a public hearing?
So, okay. All right, any other questions?
Will it strictly be just a truck wash, or will you also do like acid washing and stuff like that for deep cleaning?
We use chemicals. We are not using the acid base at this time.
Well, I don't even know that it's an acid base. We used to have to take our horse trailer in and have it acid washed. That's what they called it. It may not be
Right.
acid, but that's what
Right.
they
That's
called
the
it.
terminology.
Yes.
It's just a special
Good question.
chemical to get the bacteria out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I realize it has nothing to do with the request for replatting, but I'm just curious to know how many people will be working there?
Between 20 and 30. We're going to start up as a 2-shift operation and then expand to a 3rd shift. And that 3rd shift may be a seasonal type deal. Most truck washers are open 24/7.
Right.
I believe not working on Sunday is a good thing, so we will not be open on Sundays.
Good.
But the 3rd shift may come and go. So we may have excess of 35.
Any special requirements for people to be able to be employed by your company?
No, you gotta be able to run a car washer.
Thank you.
What about RVs, will you let them work there?
Yes, and our signs will say that also, RVs. We're also gonna set up to do cars, pickups. We'll be set up to do pretty much everything. Except cattle trucks, we will not do livestock trucks.
You're out, Marcy, sorry.
I cleaned it up before I take it to you.
Hey, but there's no conflict then, because you
That's
wouldn't be
true.
using it, right?
That's true.
Okay, all right. No other questions. This is an ordinance, so this would require a second reading. I would entertain a motion to suspend the ruling and move Council Bill 084 as corrected by Mr. Clark with the date to the second reading.
I make that motion.
I will second that.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Milner to move Council Bill 084 to a second reading as corrected. Any further discussion? Need a roll call, please.
Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Bowman,
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Reese,
Aye.
Alderman Levison.
Aye.
All right, second reading, please, as corrected.
Second reading as corrected of Council Bill 084, an ordinance to accept replat of Lot 5 of Love's Addition subdivision to achieve property boundary extensions to the west and to the south of such property and to relocate the west utility easement.
I'll need a roll call again, please.
Alderman Bowman,
Aye.
Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Reese,
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman,
Aye.
and Alderman Levison.
Aye.
All right, and Council Bill 084 becomes ordinance 03423. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Bill 085.
Council Bill 085, an ordinance amending the operating budget for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri for the fiscal year January 1, 2017 through December 31, 2017. First reading.
Well, hello again.
Good evening again. The budget amendment for fiscal year 2017 is basically a housekeeping process. Recall that we are required to maintain a balanced budget. There's been authorizations for several expenditures and different things take place throughout the year. We're at year end, so we're doing analysis to see where we're at with projections for revenue and expenses, and found that primarily the reason for the park fund is the Jefferson Street Parkway project. And recall that that is paid with STP money from the state of Missouri, and so those monies were not budgeted in any of the funds, and so we are finishing that project in the park fund where it was started. There was $50,000 budgeted originally to do the engineering design work, so that contract was awarded. We have received payments from the state, from MoDOT for that project. So that's the primary reason for the park fund and that budget amendment to take place. The aquatic center had operations that, revenues exceeded some. There's been some repairs and different things that have taken place there. And again, just to maintain that balanced budget requirement, we have to accommodate, the budget for those expenditures and authorizations to use reserve money there. The budget amendment for the community center is based on analysis. Currently, fiscal year 2016 ended with a negative fund balance. We cannot maintain a negative fund balance. That's not, an operational acceptance in the state of Missouri. So we will use reserves from debt service to correct that piece, as well as the analysis that Director Deal and I have done, showing about a $30,000 deficit, projection for 2017. That's not to say that we won't have another amendment as we finish audit services and adjusting entries and some of that stuff that caused that in 2016 to take place. So there may be even another one that takes place as we finish up audit services, if any of those adjusting entries throw us over budget again in any number of the funds. The park board was made aware of this. The logistics of it didn't allow them to review it and do a formal approval prior to it coming before the Board of Aldermen, but they will see it and be approving it on Tuesday's meeting with basically the same presentation. And to wrap this up before the end of the year, I just request that you waive the rules and consider this on first reading, and I'll answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? We need to keep in mind the age of our pool. I think the amount of repairs is actually pretty remarkable that they're not higher. I think it shows that they take care of the maintenance on it and the upkeep. And now with the tax pass, we only have a few years till we hit the finish line with the community center. So we need to keep these things moving until that gets here. So maybe a few more years of hits from over there, keeping everything going. But once the tax expires or the payments expire on the community center and the tax continues, then these should be non-issues. So. Okay.
You want first reading of that?
Well, we need a motion to
Well,
suspend
make
the
a motion,
rules.
we suspend the rules.
You making a motion?
Yes.
I have a motion from Alderman Turner to suspend the ruling and move Council Bill 085 to a second reading. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second from Alderman Levison. Any further discussion? I will need a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman.
Aye.
Alderman Long.
Aye.
Alderman Bowman.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Levinson.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
All right, second reading of Council Bill 085.
Second reading, Council Bill 085, an ordinance amending the operating budget for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri for the fiscal year January 1, 2017 through December 31, 2017.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Levinson.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Long.
Aye.
Alderman Bowman.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
And Alderman Bockelman.
Aye.
And Council Bill 085 will become ordinance 03424. Council Bill 086.
First reading, Council Bill 086, an ordinance to amend Chapter 130, Financing Purchasing Policy, Taxation, by repealing section 130.020, enacting in lieu thereof a new Article 2 purchasing policy, section 130.020, authorizing the establishment of a purchasing policy to be approved by the Board of Aldermen and establishing an effective date.
So we were told in our audit back in May that the purchasing policy was missing a few pieces. So we went back and started working on the purchasing policy, and I pulled it from what we currently have and what I've worked with before that has been reviewed. And with the help of Attorney Fairfield, we worked our way through trying to come up with something that we feel is in the best interest of the city and of the public, and using our funds to the best of their advantage. There are 3 different categories of purchasing. If it's still $15,000 or more, it's going to come to the Board of Aldermen. But the other categories state, how you can look at purchasing, whether you're getting written quotes, you're getting just audible quotes, emails, or if you're just going to buy off the shelf. We still want to do quotes so we can at least see that we're getting the best deals from all of our vendors. And it also helps the vendors to make sure that we watch over them and they give us the best prices possible. So what we're looking at on the ordinance is to take out the purchasing policy, and then we will follow this up with a resolution that will put a purchasing policy back in, but it is a document that will be held outside of the code book, same as what we do with the personnel policy. But it would still require the board to make any changes to it. But it won't be included in chapter 130 as it is now in the code book. I have placed an updated Exhibit A because I found a few mistakes that I had not included that the attorney had found and staff had found. So some of the things that are changing, and then I know the attorney has a couple of points to make. We've got the 3 different purchasing categories. We've got what the state audit showed was we did not have anything in our code about procuring professional services or maintenance services. We've got that in there. Change order policy, that was also in the state audit. And just by putting we've kept what we thought were the good parts of the old purchasing policy and kept in what we thought were the good parts of the new purchasing policy. Narrowed it down a little bit, edited a few things, and then this is what we brought to the board tonight. And we've also taken it to Finance Committee, and they've approved as well.
The new policy, one reason to try to keep it in the code would have required a very extensive reworking of the code itself, just because there really wasn't enough room for sections. The old policy was a bit simpler, did not have the number of levels and complexities, so by pulling it out, there's a reference, this ordinance basically says that the city will approve a purchasing policy, and then periodically that the city administrator will bill by resolution, will bring to the board refinements to that policy over time. It allows the policy to structurally read a lot better by not trying to cram it into a single section in the code. So that was the other reason for doing it this way.
Okay. Any questions? Since we are entertaining the idea of not having a second meeting, so if we could, somebody would like to propose moving this to second reading tonight.
I make that motion to move it to second reading.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson to move Council Bill 086 to a second reading. Second?
I second.
Second from Alderman Levison. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Bachman, Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Bowman,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Levison,
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
All right, second reading of Council Bill 086.
Second reading, Council Bill 086, an ordinance to amend Chapter 130, financing, purchasing, taxation by repealing Section 130.020 and enacting in lieu thereof a new Article 2 purchasing policy, Section 130.020, authorizing the establishment of a purchasing policy to be approved by the Board of Aldermen and establish an effective date.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Long.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bowman.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Livingston.
Aye.
And Council Bill 086 will become ordinance 03425. Council Bill 087.
Council Bill 087, a resolution pursuant to Chapter 130, Financing Purchasing Policy, Taxation, Section 130.020, establishing and approving a new purchasing policy for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri, and establishing an effective date.
So you have the revised copy sitting at your seat. The highlighted parts are what changed between what was published first and what we are asking to establish. There's just 3 changes. One was put in by the attorney, and I think it's a really good idea. Is on the bottom, it shows when it was approved. That way, whenever somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm this purchasing policy, I don't know what it's talking about, you know, which version do you have? Because eventually this will change. In the future, when we make changes, we can then update that section. We also had one area that needed to be revised, and that was page 9 of 17, where it's, we had, from an original version, it was $10,000. Now it's $15,000. That was to match the number again, that the board will either be notified of what we're buying or of what we're selling. And then another part of there just had $15,100. So we figured the 100 needed to go away. Didn't make any sense. Page 12. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other than that, that's, again, we've explained what the differences are.
All right.
Oh, and FYI, I did contact the state auditor, and they said this looked fine. Didn't commit, won't give me a written opinion, but did say that it appeared to include all the things that they requested.
Okay. There you go. Nope, this is a resolution.
I make a motion that we do this.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson.
Second.
Second from Alderman Long. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 087 becomes Resolution R052. Our last item tonight on the agenda is discussion, if there's a consensus, to whether or not we need to hold a meeting on December 18th, which will be our next regularly scheduled meeting, the third Monday. And also, if we would like to, I don't know about not having a meeting, but I believe we should consider moving the meeting on January 2nd. That would be.
You strike that from the record?
So first, let's discuss whether or not we need a second meeting. My first question would be, is there anything that anybody with staff believes that we would need to have a meeting for? I mean, there's always, if something does come up, we can always have a meeting if we need to schedule one. That's not out of the question, but if we have nothing that we need to take care of.
We have really pushed to put everything on this meeting in anticipation that the second meeting of the month would be canceled.
I believe last year we did the same exact thing. We basically, the consensus was to not have a regularly scheduled meeting. However, if something came up that it was needed, everyone is aware that we need to at least have 5 able bodies that can make it up here, not including me. I'll be here, but I don't count in that 5, so. So is the consensus to not have a second meeting? Any objection to that? Okay, so we will not have a meeting on December 18th.
Mr. Mayor, I
yes.
would reference, I was looking at my calendar, actually, the first Monday in January is the 1st. So.
Oh, so having it on the 2nd rather than the 1st, okay, I guess I was,
That's why we're on the second.
okay, on the 2nd, okay. I was thinking it was on, that's right, it is on Monday. So yeah, we would have it on Tuesday the 2nd, I apologize. Monday is the 1st, so.
I'll be all right.
And I think historically, that's kind of how it's been done, is usually move it to the next day after a holiday. So,
Is that a vote?
I was gonna say, unless somebody has an objection, we'll plan to schedule that meeting for January 2nd as opposed to January 1st. Be a Tuesday. All right?
Great idea.
All right, that concludes our agenda items. Alderman and committee reports. Alderman Bowman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question for the city City Administrator Welch. Have we heard back from the state auditor as to when they will return for their follow-up visit?
No, haven't contacted us.
Thank you. And then the other thing that I want to mention is December 16th is Shop with a Cop. It'll be our 4th year to do Shop with a Cop. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to take children shopping with a police officer. A lot of them would not have Christmas if it were not for Shop with a Cop. So if you are interested in donating to that, please see the police department, or you can see Officer Hunziker standing there by the door and just pass money to her and she'll get it to the chief. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Alderman Bachman. Alderman Reese.
Not tonight.
Alderman Miller.
Saturday is.
Can you use your microphone, make sure everybody hears you well.
Saturday is Mayor's Christmas tree lighting, as well as the, just left my head.
Bright Futures.
Their Bright Futures Kids Shopping Event, which there's a specific name for, but it's gone at the moment. So we'll be at, if you've never been involved in that and you want to come and help or see something amazing, you should come by the middle school gym, because it is unlike anything you've ever seen, and it truly makes you appreciate your life for what you have. Because we have a very good time with the kids. The kids come in, they shop, they can pick out gifts for their parents, their families, their friends, and we will have people escort them around to help them shop. We can get a list. Parents, we're gonna try and keep parents out as much as possible. Kids will then take them, get them wrapped, so they will all have gifts to give someone at their house this Christmas, and it's quite an amazing event.
What time does all that take place?
I believe it starts at 3 o'clock.
2.
2 o'clock, that's
2 to
right.
4.
It is 2 to 4 this year.
All right.
Quite amazing. Tomorrow morning, if you need coffee, please come by Brick House. Proceeds will go towards Bright Future to help. I don't know if it's designated for the food backpack program, but I will be there at 6:30 with a smile on my face and coffee in my hand. So please come by.
Which comes first?
The coffee will come first. Yes. But we will be there pretty much all day. Chris, I think you're last shift, aren't you?
10 to 12.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we'll be there all day.
All right, very good. Alderman Dickerson.
I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We won't see each other until after that's all over. And I'd like to say a special thanks to Marcella and Randy and Happy and you, our attorney, for doing such a good job with the audit. And I know all the things that you've been correcting that's been wrong with the city. And I know it's been a lot of work. And I just want you to say that I really appreciate it, and I'm sure if everybody else knew what I do, they would appreciate it also. So thank you very much for your diligence and your good work. You too, Happy. That's it.
All right. Alderman Long.
Don't have a whole lot, just everyone Merry Christmas, and unless we have another meeting or whatever, and like to
Glenn, can you use your microphone?
And,
There you go.
congratulate Jessica on becoming our new 7th or 8th alderman, sorry. I think she'll do a fine job. And I hope, like I said, everyone has a good Christmas, New Year's safe. And we'll see everyone after the first of the year, hopefully.
Alderman Turner.
Hey.
Did I see lights flicker, or is that just? It's a sign, Matt.
Yeah. Just this Saturday, you know, Christmas on the Square, got a lot of events and stuff going on. And hopefully we have some good turnout, and a lot of people show up. Go to the middle school gym. But it's been pretty quiet, so that's good.
All right. Very good. Alderman Cleveson.
Thank you, everyone, for bringing me aboard. I hope you guys are proud to have me. You guys are glad that I'm here, and I will do my best. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Welch.
You've got my report. If you have any questions about it, let me know. One thing to add is that we are looking to have a finance committee meeting. Hate to do this because I know we're canceling the second meeting of the Board of Aldermen, but we're looking at a finance committee meeting on the 14th. That's a Thursday. We've had something come up with the police department that we need to talk about. So we will get that information out to you as soon as possible, those on the committee. That's it.
All right.
Have a Merry Christmas.
All right. I'd like to echo the congratulations on being accepted, and good luck, and you'll find it a very interesting experience, I believe, and you're gonna learn a lot.
To say the least.
That's right. Yeah, this weekend is the mayor's Christmas tree lighting. I know it's labeled as that, but I think it's more of a Harrisonville Christmas tree lighting. If you want my personal opinion, yeah, I get to stand up there and talk and throw the switch with some lucky kids, but really to me, it's for the town, not for the person sitting in this chair. So, and there's, like Marcy said, there's stuff going on for Bright Futures. There's so much more going on that weekend that I really encourage everybody to get out, because it is a good time. It kind of reminds me of the 4th of July. Everybody gets together, everybody gets along, doesn't matter what's going on in the world, everybody seems to enjoy themselves and have good conversations. So hopefully we have decent weather and the wind is not blowing 100 miles an hour like it is tonight. If not, it might be a little chilly. So anyway, and yeah, I'd like to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I hope everybody has a safe one and everybody gets what they want. Also encourage everybody to drive around. I know I got my Christmas lights up. They are not on tonight because of the wind. I have a lot of yard ornaments that blow around when they're blown up. Mr. Tab, I know, has a nice display. Did you say you have some?
Ours are up.
All right, Alderman Milner, out.
Haven't blown down yet.
Drive out 7 towards Pleasant Hill. You can look at her lights, but got a lot of people in this town that get into the spirit, so get in your car and go for a nice drive and enjoy the lights. So as we watch our utility bills go up, our electric bills. So that's all I have this evening. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your year. Alderman Dickerson, I will need a motion for executive session.
I move that the Board of Aldermen go into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the revised statutes of Missouri. It's section 610.021 to discuss legal real estate transactions.
Just real estate, not legal, just real estate.
Is it?
Just real estate, no legal tonight.
Yeah, it's just real estate.
All right, we're only discussing real estate. All right, I have a legal question. Yeah. All right, I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson. Do I have a second? Second from Alderman Long. I will need a roll call vote, please.
Alderman, excuse me, Alderman Levison.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Long. Aye. Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Milner. Alderman Denise.
I guess so, yeah.
Alderman Bosselman. Aye. And Alderman Bozer.
All right, we are adjourned to executive. Good night, everybody, and thank you.